is just focusing on Facebook and posting strategy. Last week we talked a little bit about kind of the overall entrepreneurial view of Facebook. We talked about growing Facebook a little bit. And this week we're going to talk more about, what we should be doing on a daily basis to be successful. And, one thing I always try to explain to anybody is, the right attitude is so important for success. Because what ends up happening is that, social media, it's constantly evolving, and it really is a weird thing in general, especially for anyone over 30 years old, in my opinion. So the right attitude is the key to success, and I think what I mean by that is you really have to have a business entrepreneurial mindset when you use these things, because it's easy to get sucked in. It's easy to get sucked into the gossip. It's easy to get sucked into seeing what people are typing and how they're complaining or how they're raving about something or whatever. In my opinion, it's all irrelevant. All that is relevant with Facebook is that a lot of people are on it each day. And that's a fact. 200 million Americans use it. So as an entrepreneur, we have to look at this as an opportunity. Hey, there's this huge crowd of people out there. How do I get that crowd to notice me, to think of me not as a salesman who sells products, but as an expert, as the consultant, as the go-to person when they have a problem. And that's kind of the beauty of the insurance industry, because, obviously people buy products when life events occur. You buy a house, you start a business, you get a new car, you have a kid. Usually all those life events equal risk management. You need some sort of protection. You need to talk to somebody about something you probably don't understand. So where I'm going with this is that, it's kind of a big picture with social media, specifically Facebook. It's a marathon approach. And when it comes to posting, there really are some strategic things you want to do on a daily basis. And, I guess step one is just having that mindset that you kind of have to block out what everyone else is saying, not get sucked into it, and make sure that your focus is projecting yourself as the guru, as the expert. So I'll start off with kind of like what not to do. And in my opinion, you never want to solicit products. You never want to talk about pricing. You never want to talk about, hey, I can save you money, because at the end of the day, what you start to project yourself as is a salesman with products, a solicitor. And, the funny thing is marketing is all about perception. You want people to not perceive you as a solicitor, because in 2016, it is perfectly acceptable to hang up the phone on a solicitor, right? You don't have to talk to that person. He's a solicitor. And, I kind of think back to my grandmother, who, she's still going. She's 98 years old, actually had a college education, went to Fordham University, all that, grew up in New York City, really, thinks that she's very prim and proper. But when people call her right now, she'll be the first one that bang that phone down if they're quote unquote a solicitor. In her mind, it's socially acceptable. So it all goes back to perception of how we market ourselves. And I think that that's the number one thing I try to explain is when you start posting these things, that kind of salesman in us makes us say, hey, for me to sell the product, I got to tell people I offer cheaper pricing, or I have these products. It's just instinctual to do it, but in the end, it's bad for marketing. So stay away from soliciting. Stay away from what's called rapid posting. I see a lot of this. People say, well, what's rapid posting? What's that mean? What it means is that you go onto Facebook and you do a post. Let's say you do a post about an upcoming event you're doing, and then 10 minutes later, you post an article about changes with flood insurance. And then 3 minutes later, you post something, go visit my website to learn more about how you can file a claim online. So my point is rapid posting is doing multiple posts in like a 15-minute span. You never want to do that. It's fine if you want to post a few times a day, but try to spread it out over, I would say the 2-hour rule. Do not post more than once in a 2-hour period. Because again, what ends up happening is when you're posting, right, it's going to people's feeds. And if you have 2 or 3 posts in a row, very likely that it'll be just immediately skimmed over. Just how people look. They're looking for different things. So just keep that in mind. Stay away from rapid posting. And most importantly, be negative. Do not be negative. In my opinion, again, I'm a marketing guy. Advertising always leads to negative results. I see a lot of agencies out there, some of my clients, just bashing the government, really saying really nasty things about the insurance carriers. I hear you. I believe it. I'm sure it's all true. I agree. It is all true. But on the flip side, that's not how we market. Okay, not on social media. In the end, you look disgruntled. You don't look like an expert, a consultant. People who want to go to the best, they always see them as calm and cool under pressure, right? So you never want to show weakness on social media. You always want to come across as in control and focused and obviously the go-to person when people have problems. So never be negative. Now, when it comes to what you want to do, I know this sounds silly and simple, but consistency is always the foundation for success. I always kind of say social media is a lot like going to the gym. Yeah, if you go 4 or 5 times a week, you're going to be in pretty good shape, right? But if you go, Monday and Tuesday and then you miss it for 2 weeks, well, when you go 2 weeks later, it's pretty hard to get things done at a high level. So it's just like social media. The key is that marathon approach. And what I always try to explain is it's like drip marketing. One specific post is probably not going to affect multiple people at once. That's the drip. You want to make sure that you're just doing it consistently over a long period of time. And if you do that, people kind of see your things out of the corner of their eye. They're probably not meticulously studying your posts like you are when you're writing them. They're just kind of subconsciously absorbing what you're saying. And I'm a believer that that's how it flows. And it's about just the consistency of day in, day out, posting really good educational things, just letting people know you're on top of your game. And eventually, they'll have a problem. They'll get a big rate increase. They'll, like I said, have a child, start a new business, buy some property. And at that point, either they're going to search us out or they're going to refer people who are gossiping about these events that are happening to them, hopefully to you. But it starts with that consistency. It starts with posting 4 or 5 days a week. When in doubt, just keep it simple. Maybe post articles that are relevant, quick little tips about, hey, this is the difference between a term policy and a final expense policy. This is what, business liability offers. Just little things like that. You can easily find these things on definitions and whatnot. In the end, they kind of just tell the viewer, these guys are experts. They know the basics, and that's what I'm looking for, in a consultant per se. So again, move forward with that entrepreneurial focus. The successful entrepreneur, they don't get flustered when they see people complaining about Donald Trump or, telling they had for breakfast in the morning. To them, that's irrelevant. What is relevant is it's a lot of people talking in one place. And, I think that the top agencies out there, they realize that, and they're looking for ways to get people talking about them or to them. And I think the marathon approach of posting each day something simple is the key to success. So just to kind of clarify, if you are posting yourselves, which is great, you should have like a 2 to 3 minute rule. If you're spending more than 2 or 3 minutes coming up with something to post, you've lost money, because there's probably no way what you're gonna come up with is gonna make that much of an impact. It's more along the lines of the impact is getting your logo and your brand out there consistently. That's the value. The posts are great, and the more educational you can make them, and the more simple you can make them, the better. Great. But once you start spending 10, 15, 20 minutes each day scratching your head thinking about what to post, in my opinion, you've missed the whole point of how it works. Social media isn't everything. It's just meant to be, something that you can do efficiently, quickly, and in the long run, you will get results. What did I kind of do to be successful early on? Obviously I kept my focus to Facebook and LinkedIn. It's easy to get sucked into all of the different social media facets out there. In my opinion, for what we do, Those are the two you want to put most of your focus in. Of course, I made sure my personal Facebook and business pages looked really good. They looked professional. They were set up correctly. And I always kind of hungered to get distribution. Didn't matter if they were old friends or family or clients or potential clients. I always really worked hard each time I talked to somebody to try to connect with them. Maybe I didn't try to solicit them that day and pound them, but just by connecting with them, they went into my distribution, they got my posts, and when they were ready to do something, they always called me back.